Welcome back to our weekly walkthrough for the week of October 20th through the 26th. It's where we bring the above, below, and talk about the transits you should know. So with that in mind, this week's theme is the Ace of Pentacles with lightning in a bottle, reversed. And so this week, I want you to think about the more organic opportunities brought to you. These are the things that are slow, steady, and very obvious versus trying to force or manufacture something that is really not happening. Like, this is about when you're ignoring what you are being called to do, what is right timing, versus what you wish was right timing. And so really put that in perspective this week, because we do have some lovely opportunities, but they are limited. And it's not like everything isn't on the table this week. This isn't one of those times where it's like, yeah, do whatever you want. It's like, pay attention to what wants to happen this week. So with that, we start with the Child of Staves reversed. And this is because at 12:51 a.m., we have our Mercury-Mars conjunction. Now, we've been feeling this all month. Like, people have been harsh at the mouth. Like, this is in Scorpio. Mars knows what he's doing here. And with that Mercury-Mars conjunction, we're seeing a lot of, like, fighting words, aggressive attacks, that type of thing. And so with that, I really want you to just be more thoughtful on Monday. Because it does perfect at night, and we've been feeling the pressure over the whole weekend, it may not be terrible, but this does feel like there could just be like some juvenile fights that don't actually need to happen on Monday, particularly because, later in the evening we get the Moon-Jupiter square and Moon opposite Chiron. And so there can be this sense of like wanting to push back on that. And wanting to be like, well, you hurt me. And like reactivate some of the stuff that happened a few days ago when we had that Sun, Chiron, Jupiter T-square. And just really think about like, what are my body needs? What are my resource needs? What have I been ignoring with all of this? What are these like long-term wounds with this Aries Chiron era that I haven't really been paying attention to? Because if you can do that on Monday, then when we hit our new moon on Tuesday, it might be a little bit easier. Now, Tuesday is also when our Mercury retrograde pre-shadow starts. The pre-shadow is before the retrograde. It's when Mercury starts slowing down and preparing to station. And so this is our act one. Like, this is when we meet the characters, meet the cast, find out what is happening with this retrograde. I don't love the proximity to Mars with that, if I'm being honest, but we're going to work with it. And so just start noting, like, from now until the retrograde, like, all right, this is what my retrograde story is going to be. And we're really looking at the Scorpio and Sagittarius areas of the chart for that. But as far as our new moon, which goes exact at 6:25 a.m., we have our new moon in Libra. And what's interesting is it's right at the end of Libra. So we actually are we've already been in the new moon window over the weekend. And then it ends pretty abruptly, because the way that I do it is once the moon is in a different sign, like, we're in a different place now. We've moved on. And so we move on pretty quickly, because at 9:42 a.m. we're already in Scorpio. I also don't like that, because it's kind of like a new moon crash. So beginning of the week, really pay attention to your body. What I will say is we have the Mars-Mercury conjunction and Saturn in Pisces and Jupiter in Cancer forming a grand water trine. So we are really in our feels this week. We are very much contemplating like the more liminal and psychic kind of areas of the mind. And with that, we have the alley reversed. So Tuesday, you may feel a little lost. And with that, again, we're just noticing, we're tracking as best we can, and moment to moment, just like, what do I need? Check back in. What do you need? Like, what is it that really matters here? We move into Wednesday, and Neptune dips back into Pisces, speaking of that water. And with that retrograde, and we also have then the Scorpio moon will trine the North Node. And then Scorpio season starts at 9:50. So again, it's kind of harsh. It's a little ouch. I will say the sun has more dignity support in Scorpio rather than being in detriment in Libra. Ruler of Mars is in better shape, but it's still like, okay, we're really moving into the dark half of the year for the Northern Hemisphere. We're really feeling that intensity. And just letting yourself feel what hurts with this Three of Swords energy, letting yourself recognize where things aren't working is kind of our flavor for the week. Like, those are our opportunities, because we can't fix a problem we don't see, and we can't tend a wound we are ignoring. So this is really bringing attention to kind of the heavier areas of the chart. And then we get a lot of Scorpio moon action, and a little bit of Sagittarius moon action on Thursday. Scorpio moon will move into conjunction with Mars and Mercury, and then trine Jupiter, trine Saturn. Then we get the Jupiter Chiron square. Scorpio moon trines Neptune in Pisces before moving into Sagittarius, where we get an immediate opposition to Uranus. So again, it's just a very, very heavy lunar week. There's just a lot being asked of our bodies, a lot being asked of our hearts. And with the star reverse, particularly the star that is the place star, I want you to go into your inner landscape. I want you to see what's kicking around inside on Thursday. I want you to ask yourself, like, which parts of me need care right now? Which areas have I been neglecting internally because I've been too focused on the outside? And really remember that a lot of times with those star reversals, we're actually keeping the faith based on ourselves rather than based on external signs or anything like that. We're looking for those internal signs, and we're creating those internal signs. Friday, simple yet loud. We have the Sagittarius moon talking to Pluto in Aquarius before the sun squares Pluto in Aquarius, and then Mercury will trine Jupiter. And this is Four of Cups reversed. We're feeling that lack of satisfaction and that stagnancy, but also being offered the chance to be like, okay, but what am I going to do about it? Like, if I don't like what's being offered, can I find something else? Or am I refusing a good offer because I just want something better and fancier? Like, really check in with, like, what is in front of you right now? How do you really feel about it? And what are you going to do about it? Don't just sit there, you know? Unless what you need to do about it is meditate, more contemplation. But, like, make that an active choice. Don't let yourself kind of languish this week. That's going to make the harsh parts harsher. Really try to keep things moving, keep things flowing, hang out with the spirit of water, go to bodies of water, even talk to your shower. And yes, we're getting into my animist territory, but I have faith in you guys. You can figure it out. If you need to treat it as a metaphor, that's fine. As far as Saturday goes, we move into our waxing crescent. Sagittarius moon talks to Venus. And we get a square to the nodes at the bending. Can be a little confusing when we're at the bending of the nodes. Then we have Mercury trine Saturn and Sagittarius moon trine Chiron. And with that, we get the Wheel of Fortune. And this is particularly the very astrology, it's about the transits. So this is, again, one of our fated checkpoints. So really pay attention on Saturday. What are the structures of your life telling you? What is that Pisces area of your life telling you right now? What does it need to communicate? Where are we in, as Austin Coppock says, the Leviathan of depression? What's going on with that right now, especially as Neptune gets back in the pool? What is your intuition saying? And what is your grief saying? What grief needs to be heard right now? What is still in process from the nodal transits and the eclipses? On Sunday, we have the Sagittarius moon square Saturn and square Neptune before dropping into detriment in Capricorn mid-morning mountain time and having a conversation with the Scorpio sun. And this is the letter. This is about conversations. This is about what is being shared on Sunday and what do you really need to communicate to others with everything you've learned this week. All right. Have a happy week, y'all. or at least a week, and let me know what you think.